Hello and welcome to the second part of the Blood Healer build. We will go this time more in detail on the specs, on which what I used and why I used it. To start, I will go first through the race. The race is my choices of the race went mainly on the looks, and since my personal choice was Dark Elf because he looked the most vampire-like. And then the second choice was also because of his abilities or passives, which really helped reduce the damage from flame through the vampire passives. Um, so that was my choice. I wanted to look as a real vampire, and and have a little bit of use on the passives. What you use is totally up to you, okay? You can go for the looks, you can go for the passives of the race. That's totally up to you. It's a free choice, okay? And I also played Skyrim, and there I was a Dark Elf. I played more when I was a Dark Elf. Maybe that was a little bit um, responsible for me staying at Dark Elf, okay? So, let's start with the rest. Now we're going to go through the sets. Combat Physician is my first set. And I took that set because of the damage shield. Not only does the damage shield prevent damage, of course, but it is very useful for the set because when it takes pressure off of you, healing the whole time, and secondly, it's more effective than a actual heal, because when they're protected for about 5k damage, they can also heal while having that shield. So it is equivalent to 10k heal almost. Okay, that's why I took the Combat Physician set. Plus, on top of that, we have critical spell critical on top of that, and as you can see, it is more towards a crit healer build, the blood healer, which really works well with the vampire effects and blood effects of the blood healer. That's why I took that. I tested out other sets, but I personally think this one was the most viable for my kind of playstyle. Okay. You could also switch that set out for something else that you like more, or that suits your playstyle more. I personally find it most suitable for my kind of playstyle, and works good together with the other sets that I use in combination. The next set is of course Hollowfang Thirst, which is also which has of course the Blood Ball effect and contributes to the Blood Healer build. I used that set, or chose that set, mainly for the blood effect. It really helps good. Secondly, it's a crit healer build also, plus I restore Magicka, as you can see, to the group, and apply Minor Vitality, which also increases their healing received for 8%. And that thing crits really every time. Okay, it comes out every time. It's really periodically. It's really good. So that thing is almost up 100%. Okay, that's why it's really useful for the blood healer build. So you don't need some kind of resource recovery or regeneration to your group, because you have that with that. The next one is of course Earthgore Helm, which is really awesome. Okay, when as you can see, as a group, when somebody goes down to 50% or lower, under 50%, then a blood rain appears and heals them back up. And as you can see, the healing is almost 38k, which is a lot, really a lot. And everybody that stands in it gets that healing over 10 seconds. So it's really a lifesaver sometimes when you lose track of one of your members and and they and and they go really down below 50% health. It's a real lifesaver. So as you can see, I have a combat physician. You can switch it around however you like. As you can see my stats, I have a 2k magicka recovery, 35k magicka, 20k health, and 74 critical, spell critical. You can also go a little bit higher on health because your skills on the bar go half health used and half magicka use. So it's really up to you. You can experiment a little bit with it. The magicka recovery really helps out for the sustain, especially when you heavy attack. And as you can see, through my build, I have my crit is really very high. So I have really no problem proccing my combat physician and proccing my Hollow Fang Thirst, and doing really good healing specs on that part with my healing abilities. So now we're gonna go over the food. I chose the Witch Mother's Potent Brew mainly because of the magicka recovery, but also to help me stay alive and have a little bit more resources through magicka and health. It is cheap to get and is very good on this build right now. That's why I got so high on my health recovery, or my magicka recovery. And the next thing is the Mundastone is a thief, of course, to increase further the spell critical strike rating. And that's why my crit rating or crit chance is so high. Right now I'm at stage 4. You can also lower that stage to stage 3, but that's really the minimum that you have to go or can go, because because you really need the damage reduction once your health goes too low down. Now the skills. As you can see, this is mainly one bar healer build. I have Healthy Offering, which, as you can see, heals for over 10,000 in a conal area. Okay, and it costs health, of course, so it's mainly a oh shit heal. If everything goes good, you hardly need that thing. But when really the shit hits the fan, you have to activate it to heal, to save your group. And on top of that, you get Minor Mending, increasing your healing done for 8% while those 8 seconds. And you can see the radius is really large, 28 meters. So if everybody stays in front of you, you can heal everybody. If they scatter, well, then you have to keep moving and see if you get the right person, because in battle you hardly see the name palettes of your group. The next one is Refreshing Path. This is also very good. It has the vampire effect, like blood and darkness. Second of all, it really, as you can see, it heals for 1800 per second, which is really good. Stays for 12 seconds, and people that are in it get Major Expedition for 4 seconds, or while that thing lasts first. for 12 seconds, and when the thing disappears, they still have it for 4 seconds. Even if they only go in short and go out, they still have it for 4 seconds. That really helps out getting those guys getting out of area effect big attacks. The next one is Zap Essence. I mainly use that also if really a lot of mobs are there, so you can heal everybody in that and also deal damage. And as you can see, the healing is about 1800 almost, plus 20% per enemy hit, which is really significant. Okay, the major brutality or major sorcery is okay having it for 20 seconds. That increases a little bit your damage and your healing. It is really good, and of course it has a blood effect, so that's why I took that also to also contribute to the damage a little bit. Yeah, that's mainly it. Zanguan Altar, the Vampire Altar. Everybody knows it, so it is really good. Okay, it lets my group heal themselves. Okay, and all my sets, as you can see, Combat Physician and Hollow Fang Thirst, proc off of it. So when they are in the area, a 28-meter radius area, they heal themselves and proc my sets on the same time. And when everything goes wrong, they still can activate the blood funnel synergy and heal for 40% of their max health, which is really good. Okay, so the healing, as you can see, I don't know if it also crits, but if it would, it will be also cool, because then it will crit for around 1400 to 2000 on healing every second. So that thing keeps them alive pretty much. So you can just put it somewhere where the group is, and then just stay away from it. Apply your refreshing path right in the middle through it, and then heavy attack and do your healing, and that's it mainly. Okay, so that thing is really a must-have. You can go for both mores. It doesn't matter which one you take, which one suits you more. I took the one that has increased duration and reduced cost, instead of that the blood funnel heals for more on the blood synergy. Both work very good. Okay, so that is one must, definitely. Inner Light. Okay, I hardly use you don't use it at all. Okay, but the passive is very important, because while you have it slotted, it increases your max magicka by 5%, which is really good, and you gain major proficiency, which increases your spell critical by another amount. And since we are a crit healer, we want our crit to be as high as possible. Okay, plus having all the blood effects. And of course, we'll go through the passives that you also get through that in the Mage's skill tree. So that thing really is good, getting your having a little bit more resources at hand and increasing your spell critical. So Assassination Tree, you don't need nothing. Shadow Tree is one of your main trees, so which is really good. Of course, Refreshing Shadows, Shadow Barrier, that you get a little bit more resistance when you use your shadow abilities, and you have one, and that's Refreshing Path. So when you use it, you have a 7.5% increased damage reduction. On top of that, you get 3% more health, and of course your recovery is increased by 15%. So those contribute to my build also. On top of that, you can also use Bolstering Darkness, okay, for your second ultimate. That thing is really cool, because it reduces the damage of your group by 70%. No, by 30%, I think. Sorry. Yeah, reduces the damage taken by 30%, and also reduces the movement speed from the enemies by 70%. So while they are in it, they get protection. The Bolstering Darkness also allows you, also when you just touch it short, you can go out. And as you saw, I also have another 30k health on it. The Soul Siphoning is your main ultimate, which also heals for 38k on health over 4 seconds. This is mainly your oh shit heal. Okay, when really everything goes wrong and they're too scattered around, then you hit that thing. I hardly use it, I must say, okay? I only use it in emergencies. And Bolstering Darkness would be the second choice of your ultimate to lighten you up a little bit, so you don't have to heal so hard. They get protection, and they can also activate the synergy to get their heal also about almost I think 28k it was, and they can use it every time they go down below a certain amount of health. So when they use it and they get their healing, then and they go down again, while that thing is still active, they can go back in it and use it again, the refreshing path. That's the cool thing about it. I mean, from the Bolstering Darkness. Now the Siphoning Tree, you have a few. You have the Catalyst passive is very useful to get your ultimate back up faster. You get, while you have a Siphoning ability active, you get 8% more Magicka, which I have. Okay, and I think I have 1, 2, 3 abilities, but it only gives 1 times 8%. And then, of course, my healing done is increased for each siphoning ability by 3%, and you can see I have a 9% healing done, so which also contributes to my healing. Plus, every time I use a siphoning ability, I generate also another 2 ultimate every 4 seconds, which is really, really good. Those are the most important passes right now from the Siphoning Tree. Siphoning attacks, I also have in there. On the second bar is really helpful to keep your sustain up. I have it on my back bar because you only have to activate it once and it consists for 20 seconds. Merciless Resolve is also on my back bar. Since it changes, it increases your critical damage and your healing by 2% for every light attack up to 5 times. So it's a 10% increase in healing and critical damage done. So that's why it's on my back bar, because you have to only activate it once, and once you get those 5 stacks up, you don't have to worry about it anymore, because it just sustains there the whole time during the whole dungeon. Okay, so don't worry about using that the Spectral Bow or Assassin's Will ability, because then you will lose your stacks. So I wouldn't recommend using that. Just use it once to activate it and to get your 5 stacks up, so you have your increased healing and critical damage done, which also contributes. Mostly the rest of the abilities are up to you. The ultimate, of course, you can switch it out on the back bar for Bolstering Darkness from the Shadow Tree, but the rest is up to you. I hardly use the other ones. Okay, sometimes to help a little bit with the damage, you get that ball out, the Necrotic Orb, and if I can see that something is wrong with the group, that the synergy is not so good, and that's also when I put it out to get to give them resources back so they can do their job. And now to the weapons. Restoration Staff. As you can see, I have no abilities of the Restoration Staff, but I have the passives, except the last one, because that's not important. The last one is only for when you use restoration abilities, since I don't. I only use my heavy attacks. So that's why I took everything that is that doesn't require abilities to use from the restoration tree. Light armor, of course, everything completely. Medium armor, just the first 3 and the last one. The other one requires 5 pieces of medium armor, so you don't need that because you only have 1 piece, the helm set, no, the shoulders, and that's why just to get a little bit more out there, I'll show you that the head is heavy and the shoulders are medium, and that's because of the Undaunted passive. So let's go on with the heavy armor. The heavy armor, as you can see, I have everything, but that's only because I also play as a tank, and that's why I have all of the passes. Normally you just need the first 3, and the last 2 you don't need if you're going only healer. Okay. Okay, and now the next one would be, of course, the vampire, because I'm a vampire. I love vampirism, so I took everything there. You could also use a few abilities, but that's all totally up to you and they're under your slot bar. So that is the most important is undeath. Okay, you have to have that, and that you have to be stage 3. Okay, the unnatural movement is also sometimes important if you need to go invisible, but mainly don't go lower than stage 3 because of that damage reduction you get from the undeath passive. That's why I have that. Okay, the next one will be Mage's Skill, of course. To go through the passives over there. As you can see, it reduces the health. So there's all the passives are important. Okay, increases the duration of your Mage Skill abilities, which is not that important, but that one, Magicka Controller. It increases my Magicka and my Magicka recovery by 2%, which I would contribute to that. And that is, I think, mainly the most important one, the Magicka Control. And now comes Undaunted. Of course, Zhangyuan Altar. And Undaunted Command. When it restores resources once you have activated in synergy is important, okay, to help you a little bit sustain your resources. And Undaunted Metal. So as you can see, I have 6%, so I get a 6% increase in Magicka, health, and stamina, because I have 5 lights, or 1 light, 1 heavy, and 1 medium armor piece equipped. That's why that is important. The assault and the support abilities trees are good, and also recommendable to get when you go into PvP with that build. You really need it because of the increased healing and everything. Dark Elf. Here's the reason why I took the Dark Elf also. Okay. Magicka and stamina are increased by almost 2k, which really helps me do my dodge roll or blocking and using my abilities. He was the more overall character, so I was not fixed to just one playstyle, but I can choose whatever I want to do. Flame Resist was also one of my reasons I took it for the vampire, because of the flame resist, and I get immunity to burning effects, which is really helpful. And because, as you can see, we get about 20% more damage on stage 4, which is really which is really not low, but it's really a lot. And of course, Ruination is also one that I can increase my damage and my healing, or in whatever I want to do, if I want to go Magicka or if I want to go stamina. But mainly the vampire is a Magicka based character. Ashlander reduces the damage taken from environmental lava, which is really, really good. I think even a few sets that you can get, or helm sets, they produce lava damage. So that really helps also getting that down. I think, I'm not sure about it. Okay, now we're coming to the champion points. To tell you, I want to max out everything. This is, I took from the tower tree the point on Siphoner because I do a lot of heavy attacks, and to reduce the recovery from the ones I hit is really, really good. It helps the group and is really effective in PvP. Okay, so if you do your heavy attack and they reduce their resources, it's harder for them to stay alive, so they die faster. Okay, I don't know if anybody uses that ability ever, but I chose it because I do a lot of heavy attacks. Of course, the lover, tenacity, getting resources back onto heavy attack for 14% more, and of course, magical recovery. The rest is not that important from that tree. Okay, here the shadow. I took shadow ward and tumbling because dodge rolling from some kind of area effect attack and blocking sometimes reducing the cost of those two is really helpful. And now comes the Printons. Here, of course, as a healer, I took Elfborn and Blessed fully to what I can eloquate is the max that you can get from there. Going higher than that is really a waste of your points. That is really the max that you should go up from those. The Atronosh, Staff Expert, and Master at Arms. Master at Arms, I put it at high because of the Zap Essence. Because the more damage you do with that, the more healing you get and you put out. Because it's allocated to your damage, how much healing you do. That's why I maxed that out. And then the rest of the points I put in Staff Expert to do a little bit more damage with heavy attack from Restoration Staffs. That's mainly it why I use that. The Ritual, you don't need anything there. The Stead, Ironclad. I took that because the baddest thing that you can get, or the dangerous thing that you can get, is one-shotted. So you want to reduce the damage from those one-shots so you can still stay alive. Okay, that's why I put my rest of them points from that, from the Warrior Constellation, all into Ironclad to get those sweet 15% damage reduction from direct damage attacks. Yeah. Hardy 43, and just like the Elemental Defender to reduce that incoming damage by 10%. And now comes the base healing things. Okay, base healing stats: quick recovery and Bastion. Quick recovery, of course, to get more healing out, and Bastion to boost the shield from the Combat Physician. Okay, plus of course the shield that you get from all the passives from the Lord. Okay, field Physician, as you can see, when you resurrect a player, you have a higher chance to do that. You get a damage shield. You increase your recovery, magical recovery. All is very, very good for that kind of healer build. Okay, and of course there. There, damage shield, 12k damage shield when you are resurrected by another player, which really helps getting those healing effects up when you really got one-shotted. But that is really, really good, so you can get them all up without trying to heal yourself also. And Determination. When you drink a potion, you gain a damage shield that absorbs 1500 damage for 15 seconds. Is okay, because you're popping your potions all the time to get that increased recovery, magical recovery, health recovery, and stamina recovery, plus also to get your resources back. Those allocate all to the thing that you can keep your stats, your resources the whole time up. So that's about it with the build, my build. Okay, you can, if you don't have no idea how to start, how to build everything up, you can use this, okay, and then build from there up to create your own style of blood healer build. But keep in mind, the blood effect is really a must. You have to have those, or else you're not a blood healer. I hope you liked it, and we will see each other my next video. And this time we're going to go over how to dress like a vampire in Eso. The colors, which colors are good, which styles are best for that kind of build. And don't forget to subscribe and to like and hit the notification bell to get more infos on the next post. See you then. Take care and have a nice weekend. Bye bye.